Welcome to another episode of Savvy Geeks. It's been a hot minute, people. A hot minute. Here's the deal. I came back from Japan. I went to class right away because I'm trying to be a writer. I had a UFT course, and it was just like a whole week of 2+ hours of driving downtown, and I was just really preoccupied with this new endeavor of mine. It was only a 1 week class. I'm back, so I wanted to record, right? But then I record a whole episode. Last week I had the week, I wasn't, it was 2 weeks ago. So last week I was back. I recorded a whole episode of my coverage of Deadpool and Wolverine with my wife. And she said to me before I recorded, Mark, make sure you have the recording done right. Because last time we recorded, I muted her by accident. I had the volume all the way down and I forgot to put the volume up. I was like, you know what, Jen? I'm not an idiot. I won't do that again. I put the volume all the way up. And look, oh, perfect, right? No, not right. I'm a dumb ass. I had the mute button on. It was all the way down the volume and the mute button on. So we recorded a whole episode last week, and I couldn't even hear her. You just heard her through my mic, like a weird faint echo. So here's what we're going to do. This is one episode, spoiler free. I'll talk vague things about the movie, and then when me and my wife see it, I'll have her back on, and we'll talk about the movie full of spoilers. Did you have a chance to watch it over the weekend? It was his opening weekend. A lot of people don't realize when a movie comes out on a Friday, you can usually watch it the Thursday. If you have seen it, let me know in the comments, because I have a feeling a lot of the listeners have seen this film. I am absolutely in shock at how good this movie did on its opening weekend. It had a record opening weekend for an R-rated movie. For comparison's sake, I'm going to put up what I think was the best movie of the year, Dune 2, and see what their total box office was. So Dune Part 2, we've all seen it. It's an unreal film. Their total box office was $718 million. Deadpool and Wolverine, I can't believe it, had a $440 million box office. How crazy is that? They made more than 50% of Dune's entire box office in one weekend. I just picked a random movie because I really like Dune. And their budget was pretty similar. Dune's budget was $190, Deadpool and Wolverine was $200. This film, like, for those of you who don't remember, when this film came out, Ryan Reynolds was just sitting on a couch and he's like, when this film was first teased, Ryan Reynolds was sitting on a couch and he's all like, oh, what am I going to do? Hey, Hugh, you want to come back as Wolverine? And then Hugh Jackman, who's the actor who plays Wolverine, walks up the stairs, takes a bite of an apple, and he's like, sure, Ryan. And then boom. That's how it was teased. It just feels like such a lifetime ago. I can't believe we're here. Wolverine means so much to me. Ever since I was a kid, I always loved him. And Hugh Jackman, he's the Wolverine. His portrayal of this character is iconic. It's like, I would say it's even more than Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. I think Hugh Jackman's portrayal of Wolverine is more iconic than anyone else's portrayal of a comic book character. There's been some really good ones, but none to the extent of what Hugh Jackman has been to Wolverine. You gotta think of how many movies this guy has been over how many years. I think the first X-Men came out in 2000, so we're 24 years between his first appearance and his last one. Unreal. Now the question is this appearance of Wolverine a good one? And I want to get into that a little bit without spoiling the movie. Hugh Jackman's performance in this film was really good. I wouldn't say it's on the same level of his Logan, that's the last film he did. I wouldn't say it's on the same level as Days of Future Past. Those are just generally better films, so I guess he had more to work with. But he did really well. With Deadpool and Wolverine was a really good time. Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, they're big personalities to share a screen with. And I think sometimes with Ryan Reynolds in particular, he has this like shtick where, he kind of rambles on. He make all these little jokes, which I typically love. But I thought sometimes in this film, it was a little too much. And some other characters he shared scenes with, I felt like suffered as a result of it because the dialogue wasn't really smooth, And I don't want to go into too much detail because I really want to keep this movie fresh and spoiler free for anyone that wants to watch it. But I will say I thought the Ryan Reynolds shtick was a little much in this one. And that's coming from someone who loves his shtick. I thought in the first two Deadpool films. For those of you who don't remember the first two Deadpool films, the first one he's like all he's all like rattled because he finds out he's gonna die of cancer, and then he goes to this person. One line he actually says in the film that stuck with me is, and I'm paraphrasing, is the worst part about cancer is not what it does to you, it's what it does to the people you care about. That's such an incredible line. There was really good. They had this really good emotional backbone in that first film through his struggles of come to terms with his own mortality. And then in the second one, he's better now, but his wife gets murdered, so he's going through this whole like grieving stage. I thought both of these films did a really good job of giving us his reasoning behind why he does what he does in the film. You know what I mean? And I also thought the Ryan Reynolds stick was at its kind of perfect balance between like kind of smothering other people's dialogue, or not smothering other people's dialogue, but also keeping what makes him such a funny character shine. But I thought in this third film, we didn't get, like, we know what his motivations are, but it didn't feel like it was as well presented as in the first two films. And at the same time, like I said, he kind of smothered other people's chance for good dialogue because he just kept going on and on and on. Also, why does each film have to start with a flashback? Each film literally started the same way. It's kind of lame. Again, no spoilers, but it starts similar to the other two. You know, Deadpool does this thing, and he's like, "How did I get here?" Boom, boom, boom. Come on, do something a little different. That's what I didn't like about the movie. What I did like about the film is a little hard to discuss without spoiling anything. So I will say this: I like the cameos. I like the action. I like the humor. The action, the humor were the best parts about the film. The best performance in Deadpool and Wolverine, I know I can be a little biased, but I truly believe it belonged to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I really loved Cassandra Nova. She's one of the characters in this film. I thought she was really well done, and I wish we got to see more of her. That's not a spoiler. It's well documented. She's in the film. I really love how the TVA is presented. They have a really cool... They're the drivers of the story, really. And I really hope we get to see more Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I really do. At first, I was like, bring someone else in, you know? But seeing him in this movie, he just did such a good job. The only thing I wonder is, how long can he keep going at this level before it starts to just not work? He was absolutely shredded in this film. Can he maintain that level of fitness? Hugh Jackman's in his 50s. He's not a young guy. Like, how long can he keep this up? There was one scene where he had a shirt off and everybody in the theater gasped. They all loved it. Guys and girls, let's be real. It was unreal. I know unreal is my favorite word today. I guess the next question you'd probably ask is, what do I need to see before watching this film? Obviously, you got to see Deadpool 1 and 2. Come on. Anytime there's a third film in a franchise, you got to see it. Actually, funny enough, Sean Levy, the director of the film, said that he doesn't view this as Deadpool 3. He views it as a team-up. But how does Deadpool get to where he is now? It's the first two films. So you have to see Deadpool 1 and 2. Those are musts. Now, here are things that I recommend but aren't necessarily musts. They would just paint the picture better for you. Logan and Loki. Season 1 and 2, but if you don't want to watch that much TV, then just season 1. And really, Loki season 1, and come on, let's just watch both the seasons. They're so good. Loki, what happens in Loki has massive ramifications for this next era of Marvel. The TVA are the time cops. They're tasked with keeping the multiverse together and making sure timelines don't go all poop. They are huge in this film, and they're going to be huge going forward. So you better familiarize yourself with their history, who they are, why they're here, and where they're going. If you really want to get a good picture of this film, you should probably see all the X-Men films. Actually, really, you should see... Oh, you know what? I'm going to not say that last part. Don't want to spoil anything. Watch it once, then come back and think about what I just said and how I just saved a massive spoiler. Hey, I'm maintaining no spoilers so far. I haven't spoiled one thing. I said spoil a lot, but I haven't actually spoiled anything. I think this film's going to fall around the mid 80s on the Savvy Meter ranking, but when I see it again with my wife Jen, I'll have a final review. Really, this film, I was just kind of in awe that Hugh Jackman was back. So I need to come back again, watch it properly, just relax. I was way too excited to be there. It should be noted there is one after credit scene, but is not really relevant to any future Deadpool stories or any future MCU stories. You can stay if you want, but if you gotta pee, it's not a big deal. You can just go. That's all the time we have for today. Tune in on the weekend when we have our full spoiler-laden review of Deadpool and Wolverine. And then we'll go back to our MCU rewatch. My name's Mark Savvy. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.